0 points, 3 crashes, and 1 penalty point. How did Franco Colapinto end up with a seat for the 2026 F1 season? Firstly, before the contract was announced, Colapinto had outperformed Gasly in over a third of the Grand Prix. And I think that's actually really good going when you consider the fact that Gasly's first full F1 season was in 2018. Meanwhile, this would probably count as Colapinto's first full season. Secondly, by the Alpine F1 team's own admission, this car has been pretty dreadful to drive, and they are clinging on for dear life for the 2026 regs. So yes, the car has scored points with Gasly and not with Colapinto, but I do think Gasly's experience overall within F1 and also with the Alpine F1 team has really helped him to navigate a pretty tricky situation. So I don't think it's that surprising that Colapinto hasn't got any points. But what Colapinto has done is keep it on track. Most of the time. For example, compared to Doohan, Colapinto has a lower percentage of race weekends that involved a significant crash during the 2025 F1 season. Similarly, Doohan had picked up 4 penalty points, whilst Colapinto has only picked up 1. So when you look at it from this angle, it does make sense why Doohan didn't end up in the seat. However, I am an empath and I feel really bad for Doohan. I can't imagine how rough it must be to have been in a team's program for 3 years, then finally get to drive for that team and be in the series that you've been working towards basically all of your life, to then be dropped really quickly. But Doohan wasn't the only competition that Colapinto was facing. Apparently, basically anyone without a contract for the next season was considered, so there were other elements to Colapinto being signed. For example, senior management and the Alpine F1 team have said that they've seen Colapinto become more secure, more committed, and more mature throughout the season. Also, him having experience of both the team and the car for 2026 is a major plus point. They need to be able to hit the ground running next year, because I'm pretty sure they can't afford to have another last place finish. Furthermore, they have admitted that the financial implications did play a role, and I think we'd all be pretty naive in thinking that this wasn't the case. As we're all aware, Colapinto brings in a number of South American sponsors. Meanwhile, he brings in very passionate fans, perhaps more passionate than I've seen in a long time, and naturally they're going to buy merch. Moreover, Renault, who is the parent company of Alpine, did the original Fate collection with Franco Colapinto, and I think the fact that they did this shows that they do quite like him. So overall, I'm actually not surprised that Colapinto got the contract.